In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
One moment where I've actually talked about Katt publicly, and this was when...
I think it was on Breakfast Club.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped with you.
Why was he a risk?
He chose drugs.
In over 15 years in Hollywood, no one seems to recall attending a sold-out Kevin Hart show. It's an unheard-of phenomenon. What exactly is a plant? This was a point I discussed publicly during an appearance on The Breakfast Club. My frustration with Katt Williams stems from his constant blame on Hollywood, the white man, and external forces. At what point do you take responsibility for your own actions? Katt had his shot. He was that guy at one time. But he became a risk to studios, which is why they stopped working with him.
Number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies.
Now, it seems the tension between Kevin Hart and Katt Williams is far from over. Kevin recently gave an interview accusing Katt of being jealous. Meanwhile, Katt has spent years exposing what he claims are Kevin's shady industry connections. Katt even called Kevin an unfunny industry puppet, allegedly put in place to replace him because he refused to comply with Hollywood's darker demands. According to Katt, every movie opportunity he lost due to standing his ground was handed to Kevin, who was reportedly willing to do whatever was asked of him. Their feud reached a new level last year when Katt went on Club Shay Shay.
The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we're talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy,
right,
where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting. So considering that's the real story, why would you bring up that story? I lost for a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk, that all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem, and then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was and acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard. But yeah, it's interesting, but I wouldn't change it for the...
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, what? This prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're a writer. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then, like, the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress.
Alleging Kevin's rise to fame was orchestrated by powerful figures after Kevin sold his soul. Katt accused Kevin of fabricating his story of struggle, insisting Kevin's career was handed to him by these same figures. Katt claims he was blacklisted after refusing to film an inappropriate scene in Friday After Next. He argued that humor should not come at the expense of demeaning portrayals, especially of black men. Following his refusal, Katt says he lost multiple opportunities, and these roles went straight to Kevin Hart. Despite these setbacks, Katt stands firm on his principles.
I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later. There's a whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast? You know, it's like, so you gotta...
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts? And is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. You know, for me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so, you know, I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on the talk show this morning.
You look
said
good
no to
doing
that. Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. You know, at the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, you know, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
And here come the Cardinals. And from the looks of it, the new pope is not Turkson. The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavashane Wallace.
Wow. I don't think anyone saw this one coming.
Believing his decision upheld the integrity of his craft. The controversy deepened when Kevin appeared on SNL wearing a dress, contradicting earlier claims that he would never compromise his morals. Critics accused Kevin of participating in a humiliation ritual, with some linking it to a broader conspiracy of black male comedians being pressured into wearing dresses for fame. Kevin defended himself, stating it was his choice and that he simply found it funny. Katt, however, sees this as part of a pattern. He insists Hollywood pushes certain figures to prominence while sidelining those who don't conform.
At the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn.
You're a sucker. The reason I don't do Big Tigger is because I had a tumor in my upper jaw and they had to take it out and they had to block the whole right of my sinus with a piece of metal. So ever since I got out the Marine Corps, I can only breathe out of one nostril, boy. I get my blood tested every 3 months for the last 15 years. All narcotic tests have come up 0.00%. I'm 44 years old, little Tigger. You look up my rap sheet. I have never had a DUI or a possession of anything, not even the marijuana I do every day. See, when you real, you can tell the truth about anything or anything.
Kevin, in turn, fired back during the Breakfast Club, calling Katt a failure who sabotaged his own career. Kevin argued that Katt didn't take responsibility for his actions, missed opportunities, and ultimately became a liability for studios. The back and forth continued, with Katt challenging Kevin to a high-stakes showdown in comedy, sports, or rap to settle their differences. Kevin has since expressed regret for engaging with Katt, calling it a waste of energy. He emphasized that he focuses on what brings value to his career and doesn't see responding to Katt as beneficial.
Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You off promo shoots. You your promo trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped.
Why was he a risk?
He chose.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I got to fix me, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to stand up for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say Tiffany Haddish doesn't deserve or isn't really a comedian and these other women have worked hard, which they have. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Melanie Camacho. Shouts out to Lou Nell. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Leslie Jones, who are all underneath the umbrella of Katt Williams. Katt Williams, have you ever used your platform to bring the people that were under you up? Mm. You haven't. So because you haven't, don't knows that now are. I've used my platform and I brought my guys and girls up. Mm. The brand of Kevin Hart is a brand that's expanded so far, whether you like me or not. My presence in comedy will forever be felt. Mm. I'm a boss. Mm. I sit on the top of it, and the opportunities I'm giving are the ones that I'm creating. Mm. So take responsibility for what you did. You. Nobody else did. You don't hear Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, the Kings of Comedy, Seinfeld. You don't hear George Lopez, Eddie Griffin. You don't hear who else can I go down the road of other comedians? Steve Martin, Martin Short. You don't hear the guys that got on top and that made it by doing what they love complain about the people that are coming under them. Mm-hmm. The reason why is because they're happy with themselves. Mm. Don't blame everybody else for your shit. Don't on my sister Light because you're not happy with shit. This earned, it's not given. I don't give a you a Tiffany Haddish fan or not.
On social media, boy, I know you what you do, but you do it for play. If you do it for real, here it is, Kevin. I got a show at your hometown in Philly. I'm gonna take my special there. On that stage, we can put whatever you want. A full court basketball court, a boxing ring, 2 microphones for a rap cipher, or you can get your dusted in comedy on that stage. But it's $1 million up for each one. That's $5 million, Mr. 28 million in Forbes. I'll be bringing mine in cash, Mitch. Bring yours however you want. And since you're not a puppet, don't bring no white people with you then. That's a $5 million bet individually. You can take it all, or you can take it part and parcel. This is the new movement.
I have real problems with people, and your problems are like serious. It's not hard to ever get to a person and really like address the problem correctly. The problems that people have with me, they aren't my problems. So the idea of being petty or going back and forth, it's so beneath me because I don't have the problem. And I feel like if I engage, it makes it look like I got a problem. We were promoting night school, and Tiffany was affected by some of the things you said. And it was more of a like support for her in that moment and like some shots at him.
Do you regret that?
Yeah, I shouldn't even talk. I should never address him like, at all. I don't have to. What? Like, why? What will it do for me? What will I gain? There's no gain. So I look at everything from a business and economic standpoint. Like, if I'm investing in something, well, what is my return? What's the return on my investment? What's the return on my time? What's the return on my energy? What's the return on my investment? So that investment of self, words, dialogue brings me what? What? And if I can't answer that question, or if people around me can't answer that question, then it doesn't get an inklet of energy. So it has nothing to do with people feeling like they're above, people feeling like they're better. No, it has to do with a strong understanding of you and like yourself, level of awareness. Like I can check all these boxes.
Kevin, in turn, fired back during the Breakfast Club, calling Katt a failure who sabotaged his own career. Kevin argued that Katt didn't take responsibility for his actions, missed opportunities, and ultimately became a liability for studios. The back and forth continued, with Katt challenging Kevin to a high-stakes showdown in comedy, sports, or rap to settle their differences. Kevin has since expressed regret for engaging with Katt, calling it a waste of energy. He emphasized that he focuses on what brings value to his career and doesn't see responding to Katt as beneficial. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Kevin Hart is an industry plant? Or is Katt Williams simply bitter over his own missed opportunities? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out another messy video here.